Hi, how you doing, everybody? It's Mark here, back with another video. I hope you can hear me okay. And apologies about the lighting. I'm here in my wife's office, and the light is very bright. It can burn your retinas out in less than 20 seconds, I think. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to do a video in relation to a question that has been asked by a subscriber, and I just wanted to kind of go into it from my understanding. Now, this doesn't mean to say it's correct. I'm talking about what is right for me, and what I know rings true for me. If you find that this rings true for you, or you can identify with it or relate to it, then fill your boots. So the person was talking about what kind of asking what it feels like to be addicted to something, and they were asking, is it like that feeling we get when we go hungry and we want food and stuff like that? My understanding is that addiction's nothing to do with feelings. It's nothing to do with the way that we feel, but that it's a mental condition that we don't have any control over once it develops. So what do I mean by that? So we're not gambling because of how we feel. How does addiction make us feel? Well, how does it feel to be a middle-aged woman going through the menopause? I don't know. I can describe to you what it feels like, and I can describe to you what my experience, but only you can decide for yourself if you can identify and relate to it. And if you can identify and relate to it, then it means there's a very high likelihood that you are also, in the grips of that as well. So a middle-aged woman describing the menopause to me, I can get a generic image. I can get a rough generic image of what they're talking about, but I'm never going to be able to really experience that, am I? Because without being flippant, I'm a bald, fat, middle-aged bloke. You know what I mean? And it's similar with this, I think. With a non-addict, you can develop a generic idea. We can gain a generic image within our mind. We can infer what the addict is feeling, but it's about experience. It's the addiction is an experience. It's not a feeling as such. So addiction is the experience of, in relation to gambling, the experience of being unable to stop yourself from putting on the first bet. And once the first bet has been placed, stopping yourself from continuing. So there's something going on prior to us placing that first bet. We're not feeling anything. It's not a feeling or anything like that. There's a strange breakdown within the mind which doesn't allow us to remember the suffering and the pain and the humiliation of a week ago or a month ago, or whenever we've gone back to gambling previously. So that's nothing to do with a feeling. It's a mental it's a mental action, or a mental breakdown, if you like, of our cognitive ability to be able to prevent ourselves placing the first bet, a lack of power. So the person talked about powerlessness. Would it not be better to call it something else? Well, No, not really, because if you had the ability to not to not do that, you would surely do it. If you had the power to not do that, you would surely do it. If you had the power to prevent yourself from doing it, surely you would do that as well. But if you are powerless, it means that you can't stop yourself from doing it. And any gambling addict will tell you, if they're honest with themselves, that that they recognise the lack of power to stop themselves through that experience where we're punching a slot machine, ready to throw our phone off a wall, ready to smash up a roulette machine in the bookies or whatever, and thinking to ourselves, how the hell did I do that again? So we had it before. How did we end off on that spree? Because this is really the crux of the problem, where we're not just powerless after the event of placing the first bet. We're powerless before we place that first bet. That's why we placed that first bet. And so there's a mental breakdown in the mind that occurs from time to time, which forces us to put the first bet on. Once we put the first bet on, that's it. We're off. And I know people don't like the word powerless. Fine. If you're not powerless, you're not powerless. Nobody's asking you to admit something that you're not. If you're not an addict, if you're not a gambling addict, nobody's asking anybody to admit anything. Nobody's like, I'm not stood here with a club going, you will admit you're a gambling addict. I hope you're not. I hope you're not. I hope the majority of you watching these videos aren't, because if you are, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can identify and relate to the experience what I'm talking about. That breakdown within the mind, that inability to bring to mind the pain and misery of gambling addiction when the time it is needed most in order to act as a barrier to stop us from gambling again. If you can identify to all that, you've got more than a problem. Because problems can be solved on willpower. My experience is that trying to solve addiction on willpower, will lead you further down the hole to hell. That's just my personal experience. And if people, how can I say this? If the terminology of the word powerlessness or whatever, I'm not really interested in the terminology, and I mean that in a friendly way. I'm not trying to challenge or anything like that. But if somebody doesn't like the term powerlessness, because I don't know, if somebody doesn't or somebody thinks a better word could be used, then fair enough. I use words which work for me, and I think that for people who've been in my experience, they will understand exactly what I'm talking about. That utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or how great the wish is, the absolute incapableness, if that's a word, the absolute inability to remain gambling free. So what would that be? What would that be? Anyhow, I'll leave it there. Bye for now.